Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, your journey partner in business, welcoming you back to episode 124 of the Journeypreneur Podcast. This is your source for channeled holistic stress management techniques, guidance, inspiration, and motivation from the best for you to stay on your path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact as a conscious entrepreneur. So the title of this podcast episode is Moringa, the Miracle Tree. And I am so excited. Get to introduce you to someone I love so much. And I can't say I have the corner on loving this woman. She has changed so many people's lives here in our beautiful state of New Jersey. Good morning, good everything. Good afternoon, Marilyn Schlossbach. Welcome to the podcast, Goddess.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so good. I just love you. I love you.
Love you too. We're the kindred space teeth people.
That's right. I love it. Growing up, I always looked at Madonna and was like, yes, thank you for having a gap in your teeth. Oh, so good. So this may be somebody's first time getting to meet you. This may, I know and love you, but this may be someone's first time getting to meet you. If you could, in your own words, share with us what it is you do, and especially the 3 things that you are known for. Tell us, Goddess.
Ooh, so the 3 things I'm known for, being a strong, badass woman, giving back to my community, which fuels me and keeps me going all the time, and being a mother and wife, I guess. So a late blooming mother and wife.
Fabulous. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's such a blessing. And how I've really gotten to encounter you has been through the work that you've done, as an incredible restaurateur. Ladies and gentlemen, Marilyn, she owns Pop's Garage and Langosta Lounge in Asbury Park, as well as White Chapel Projects in Long Branch, New Jersey. So you've created an incredible movement, on the Jersey Shore, the ocean side, preserving nature down there, making sure that we're using straws that are healthy for the environment, even if people are crusty about it, you're eco-friendly, and all about supporting increased health for our environment and ourselves as well. And so I want to thank you for that. And I want to know, I'm curious, could you tell me a little bit more about what inspired you in the first place to get excited about Moringa? How did you first get introduced to it, and what did you have some sort of an experience that gave you an epiphany about wow, this is the thing, this is the miracle tree? Could you tell us more?
Sure. Well, one, I want to say Happy Earth Day. Yay! So it's amazing that I'm sitting here doing this on this day when we're noticing how beautiful the ocean is, how beautiful and clean the air is. We have the lowest emissions that we've had in decades. So staying inside and keeping out of your cars and your purchasing is helping our lovely Mother Earth. So thank you all for that unintended benefit of this. But Moringa, so I travel a lot, and after the earthquake in Haiti, it was a crazy time for Asbury Park, because Asbury Park has one of the largest Haitian populations in the country. And I had no idea, but I got asked to sit as the lone Buddhist on this coalition of pastors from Asbury, Neptune, and Ocean Grove about how to help our community during the aftermath, and also how to help Haiti. So I did 2 trips to Haiti with a local pastor, Pastor Sonny Augustine from the Methodist Church in Asbury. He's now moved down to Florida to try to retire, even though, like me, he probably never will. And we were in Haiti, and we went to this place that I wanted to go visit because I had been purchasing jewelry for our surf shop through this company called Papillon. And they make jewelry using women primarily from Haiti to create these beautiful beads. And Donna Karen had actually invested in them and helped the company grow. And when I was there, I went into the back of the store and they had a little juice bar and they had this powder on the counter in this really pretty packaging, and it was Moringa. So I said to Pastor Sony, "What is this?" And he's like, "You do not know about Moringa?" And I said, "I do not know about Moringa. Tell me about Moringa." So we did a little journey that day because there's also another perfume additive called Vevitar, which is what high-end perfumes use to bring out the scent of their earthiness. So we went on a little journey, sidetracked off our relief efforts, looking for this plant, Vevitar and Moringa. And I got to experience firsthand the plants and take them and eat. Moringa you can just eat. People there make it in a tea. They take the leaf and they stew it, or they take the seed and they grate it. And so I got to learn firsthand of the benefits. So one of the major benefits of Moringa that's used in places like Haiti is for type 2 diabetes, because it basically chelates through the water in your body and pushes out and regulates sugars, metals, toxins. So I learned that, and then came home, had my little Moringa pouch that I was taking for a couple of years, and then we started going to Nicaragua to surf. And when we went the first time, I was at a bag of Moringa. I was like, "Oh my God, you have Moringa." And they're like, "You don't know about Moringa?" And I'm like, "I do know about Moringa. I know a lot about Moringa." So I said, "Who is making this Moringa here? Where is the farm? I want to go see it." So it turns out I knew somebody in Nicaragua who knew a farmer. I went, met the farmer. We went to his farm. We saw the whole process. He convinced me to invest in his farm. I went to a dinner with him and this Korean gentleman, Mr. Soon, and we fell in love. You sometimes fall in love with people, not like in intimacy, sexual love, but just pure, like, you are my newfound BFF, and I want to be in a relationship with you. So it had nothing to do with Moringa at that point. We just really hit it off at this dinner. Mr. Soon is almost 80 years old, so he's not, a young, spry chicken. But if you met him, you would think that he was maybe 60 tops. He runs full marathons, like 6 times a year, all over the world. And he is sharp and smart and way retired, but decided that Moringa was the reason he was in such wonderful physical shape. So he started a company called Swan Vive to sell Moringa to the Korean market. Now, the farmer that we met introduced us because Mr. Soon donated, I guess you'd call it donated now, because none of us got our money back, money to this farmer who ended up ripping us off. I didn't donate so much money, but Mr. Soon did. And through that bad circumstance, we became closer. It turns out he moved to New Jersey during this time because his daughter had twins in New York. So now my BFF is like right in my backyard, and we have had this relationship of business together. So he helped me launch my version of his product called Wave of Balance. So I created these cool labels with a local artist in Asbury Park, Jilly. And Mr. Soon basically got everything produced for me, helped me launch it, and now is continuing to help me with another product related to Moringa. So Moringa, as I said, it has a leaf, which is green, and it has a seed, which is brown. The leaf builds you with immunity. It has all kinds of vitamins and minerals in the leaf. And then the seed, when you press it, you get a powder, and that's the chelation piece of the plant. Now, after you press the seed, you get an oil, which is a topical hair, body, face oil that we're now developing into another product called ocean oil. But the Moringa as a supplement, so I have on my website, and I have in this little pamphlet here what it has. So it has 36 times the magnesium as an egg, 25 times the iron as spinach, 7 times the vitamin C as oranges, 36 times the potassium as a banana, 4 times the calcium as milk, 4 times the vitamin A as a carrot, 13 times vitamin E as broccoli, 50 times vitamin B3 as peanuts, 50 times vitamin B2 as sardines, and 30 times vitamin B2 as almonds. So it has all of these great immune building properties that, you know, right now with what's going on in our life, you can't get enough of. And, you know, I'm a kind of natural person. I don't go to doctors. My kids go to a homeopath. I think I've been to a doctor maybe once or twice when I've had to get some sort of shot to go to some third world place. But in general, you know, when you get that question, who's your, you know, your primary, I'm like, I don't have one. So, you know, I don't really subscribe to that. I'm lucky enough to have been born to a parent, well, 2 parents, but one that was born in 1898. So I grew up with this philosophy that the purer it is and the more natural it is, the better it is for you. You know, don't wear makeup, it's going to ruin your skin. Don't eat that, it's going to ruin your body. So I've never taken a lot of vitamins and supplements. I've tried to do that through my food. But there are times as you get older as a woman, you need more vitamin D, and sometimes your calcium levels are low or whatever that is. So now that I found Moringa, I don't take anything but the seed and the leaf. And I think right now I feel strong and like a fighter at a time when the world is fighting against you. So, you know, I don't even know how to make people understand how wonderful this thing is. I mean, it's called the miracle tree. That's not my name for it. That's the world's name for it. If you Google Moringa miracle tree, all kinds of articles and studies come up about this plant. And it grows very quickly, so it's easy to produce. It's not an expensive, long-winded growing time. So these countries that can't get access to medicine use natural products. You know, if I say to a Haitian or a Spanish person or a Nicaraguan person, have you heard of Moringa? They're like, yeah, everybody knows Moringa. It's just Americans have access to all kinds of things and drugs, and they don't go down to the root of life.
This is so true.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what's so good about what you shared is that this is like nature's own healing for our bodies, something that fortifies our own innate ability to stay healthy and stay strong, right? Even as you said, if you feel like the world is fighting against you, you've got yourself fortified right, and protected so that you can continue to be able to get out there and serve. And also, how powerful is it that some, like, all of the statistics that you were like, 50 times the amount of, like, it's incredible to hear that in one plant, so much of what our immune systems need can be concentrated, and it's something that grows freely and easily. And so for those of us who, as entrepreneurs, like this on the Journeypreneur podcast, we are entrepreneurs, and that means we're on this journey to serve other people, to help solve problems, help make the world a better place. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen entrepreneurs putting themselves last and working themselves into the ground because they're not taking care of their health. And especially like with what you were saying right now, Marilyn, of what's going on. Like, for everyone who's watching, we're currently filming during like the shutdowns and COVID and all of that. And Marilyn is actually filming from her gorgeous oceanfront restaurant right now, right? So for so many entrepreneurs and business owners who maybe they've been like on the edge trying to serve their people, but okay, now they're taking the hit from this economic thing, like downturn, and then on top of that, you and I both know when we get stressed, then like our energy tanks. What would you tell to someone like what would you say to inspire them so that they can take better care of themselves as well as to get out there and keep serving? Like, what comes up for you to share with them?
I mean, it's, I have to leave this podcast to go deliver meals for a nonprofit. And that's what I'm doing personally to keep myself going. For me, community service is what drives me. Mm-hmm. I think that everybody has to find what drives them, whatever that is, whether it's meditation, yoga, running, reading a book, whatever it is. I find that Moringa, for me, because I am an entrepreneur that pushes myself too hard. And when I get down, I get knocked down. But taking this brings me right back up. Like, even when I do get sick, when my husband's sick for like 2 weeks, I'm sick for 2 days. Mm. My kids take Moringa in a smoothie every day, and they're 7. And when they get sick, it goes through them faster so they can bounce back. I mean, I believe that when I'm sick, it's because I've pushed too hard, and I just don't know when to say no or stop or take a day off, or even when I want to, I can't, because there's commitments as an owner of a business that unfortunately you buy into when you start a project or you have your own business. I think for me, in all of this COVID, I've gone through many like cycles of transformation, of depression, of hopelessness, of hope, of freedom, of entrapment. It's like a roller coaster. And the other day I sat down and wrote about it because I got inspired by an article in the New York Times that this woman wrote about grief. And it made me realize that I was grieving of my loss of my business. And prior to this, I mean, me personally, we've had conversations about how I wanted to give up my business and how the things that I fell in love with didn't exist for me anymore. And this lockdown has made me miss some of those things and remember, the good things about owning my business, and maybe give me a new perspective how to shift back to that and have more boundaries with everything. My vendors, my public, all of it. I think the only advice I can give is that you have to find the things you believe in that help you cope with your day-to-day life. And I believe everybody has nuances of the same thing. There's yoga communities, there's meditation communities, there's restaurant chef communities, but we all also have our path, the one we were given by God or a higher being, and how our parents raised us or how our community raised us, that shift us not off of the group herding mentality, but add to that. So though I like to take a yoga class here and there, or I like to surf here and there, it's not what defines me. I think what defines me are so many things, and that's an entrepreneur. So I just sometimes have to sit back and say, it's okay to not want that right in this moment. And it's okay to feel crappy right in this moment. It will pass. Don't fight it. Just let it move through you.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as being healthy, I need all the help I can get, because right now I'm out there in the public. I'm the one going to the store and getting our groceries. I'm the one interacting with our staff and delivering meals to 300 seniors every day. I am a compromised person in this COVID world. So maybe I haven't, maybe I'll get it, but I thoroughly and honestly in my heart believe that my miracle tree is going to help me get through it in a better way. You know, who's to say who will get this or not? I know people who are not even coming in contact with people and are getting it, and people that are in a lot of contact with people and aren't getting it. So, you know, it's whatever's happening is just going to happen. I just want to do it in the strongest way that I can for my family and my community. I would hate to not be able to keep doing the work I'm doing through the nonprofits I'm working with and be cooped up inside my house, not being able to give.
Mm-hmm. So well said. And there's a lot of this fear going around of like, am I going to get it? Am I not? I have to make sure that I never get it. But what was so powerful about what you just said there, Marilyn, is that I don't know if I have it or not, but if it does come, I know it's going to go through faster. And it's because your body is supported, right, with the level of nutrients that she needs. You're out there serving. We're called to serve, and it's much more painful not being able to get out there and answer the call to contribute, right? So if there's anything that can support us in being able to process through, like, well, yes, maybe we might catch a cootie. That's life, right? But is your body strong enough to be able to move through that faster, right? To just let it do what it's supposed to do. It's not healthy to never in your life be sick. Your body learns from processing that illness and fortifies and gets stronger and stronger over time. So for those who are listening in right now or watching this wherever they are, I'm sure that they're wondering, like, okay, where do I go to learn more? Where do I go to get like a couple bottles? Where can I get it for my family, for my team? I know we were talking the other day about how you and the whole team, they take Moringa, and everyone's so far, knock on wood, it's like doing just fine, going out there around hundreds of people. Meanwhile, Susie Q and Joe, whoever, like sitting there with their mask on, only exposed to their cat, is in freak out mode.
Like, and it's okay, honestly, if you don't feel comfortable going out there and doing what I'm doing, don't beat yourself up about that. Mm-hmm. You need to, mental fear can consume you. And there are moments where I get nervous, for sure, because I have kids and a husband and a staff. But, for me, I feel like I take this to help me balance who I am. I've given out over 500 bottles of this in the last month to my community, because I believe, like, if you try it, I don't think you're not going to like it. I think it's going to make you feel better. I think you're going to be stronger. And if you don't want to buy it after, so be it. But I wouldn't be giving it out to my community if I didn't feel like my community should be served with it. Not that I can afford to give the whole world Moringa. I'd like you to come buy it on my website, which is waveofbalance.com. And that is my social media as well, because I feel like this Moringa can create a wave of balance in people that they are missing with all of the stuff that they watch on TV and all the drugs that are pushed at us. And this whole pandemic has brought fear to people, has brought this, if we don't get a vaccine, we're never going to get through this. And, I don't take a flu shot. My kids don't have a flu shot.
Neither.
I've had the flu. I'm not dead. If I get this and the antibodies and my body starts to assimilate and shift to meet the needs of what is going on in the universe, that's what I want to do. And I want to take something to help me be strong so that I can do my other work and I'm not stuck in a bed or a hospital and missing my calling in life. So come to Wave of Balance. Reach out to me if you have more questions. Follow our social media. We're always posting all kinds of things. You can put moringa in your food. You can put it in a salad dressing and we bake bread with it. We make smoothies with it. I put it in the girls' pasta sauce because they don't want to have a smoothie today. So I throw it in their dinner, because I want them to get something healthy inside of them.
So when we go to waveofbalance.com, by the way, we make sure to get the leaf as well as the seed so that you get both sides. Is that right?
Yep. And we have a special going. We have free shipping on there. We want people to take them together. Most people take the leaf and not the seed, but I think that the seed is very important into keeping your body cleansed and regulated.
I love it. This is so good. That balances both. If we're just taking in lots of high quality vitamins, high power vitamins, but not clearing out, well, it's interesting. People forget that your colon is where you absorb the nutrients that you take in. My mom always says, if you don't cleanse regularly, you're just going to have expensive piss.
Yeah. And there's a lot of supplements that you take that your body can only absorb so much of it, and the rest of it just gets peed out, So
yeah,
your mother is very smart woman.
I love it. So good. My mom's an herbalist, so she would know. This is so right up her alley. And I also take Moringa. Thanks to you. You're one of the to it. Right, I'm all about bringing in more natural healing into my life. I also see a homeopath regularly too. So I know I love it. And for everyone who's listening in, again, that's waveofbalance.com. Is that right, Marilyn?
That is right.
Alrighty. So thank you so much, Goddess, for coming on the podcast. Mwah. Yay. And so I'm going to turn it over to our listeners now, or our viewers. And thank you for coming in and stopping by the Journeypreneur Podcast. If this is your first episode, hi, thanks for coming by. Make sure that you subscribe on iTunes while you're at it so that you get the notifications for when our podcasts come out first. While you're there, leave us a 5-star review because there's a comment box. This is episode 124. What did Marilyn say that really touched your heart and inspired you to stay on your path, right? To service as a conscious entrepreneur. I want to hear it. I love reading your stories and thank you for your reviews. Big hugs and love to you. With that being said, I end this podcast episode the same way every single time. Please remember to enjoy the journey. Do not lose your glow as you grow in life and business. And we'll see you in the next podcast episode. Bye, everyone.